After driving 9 hours through a snowstorm to make it to my brother's engagement party, I walked in frozen and soaked. His fiancée took one look at me and snapped, "Could you have dressed any cheaper?" My brother just laughed and turned away. I sat alone at the back table all night. 2 years later, she was the one emailing me every day begging me to loan her money after he left her with nothing. I'm not the kind of person who holds grudges. At least, I didn't think I was. But this story changed that. 2 winters ago, I got an invitation in the mail from my younger brother Mark. It was for his engagement party. He and his fiancée Alyssa were throwing a big event in Minneapolis, fancy place, hotel block reserved, the whole thing. I hadn't spoken to Mark much in the last few years. He moved to Chicago after college, got into finance, and started living like a completely different person. Our conversations turned into shallow check-ins, birthday texts, the usual. Still, I figured this invite meant something. I live in Billings, Montana. That's about 9 hours from Minneapolis if you drive straight through. The weather had already started to turn ugly that week. Roads were slick. But I figured, this was my only brother. It felt like something I should be there for. I don't have a lot. I work as a mechanic at a shop off Main Street. We're busy in the summer, slow in the winter. The week before the trip, I took 2 extra shifts just to cover gas and motel costs. I didn't want to look out of place, so I stopped at a consignment shop and picked up some clean clothes, button-up, blazer, slacks. Nothing fancy, but nicer than my usual jeans and hoodie. Everything fit well. I was proud of how I looked. I left Billings at 6 in the morning. Snow started falling around Dickinson. By Bismarck, I was crawling at 30 miles an hour on I-94. My windshield wipers could barely keep up. Semi-trucks passed me, kicking up slush so thick I couldn't see for seconds at a time. It was stupid to keep going. But I didn't stop. I just kept thinking, this is my brother. He'd do it for me. I pulled into the venue just after 7 p.m. The snow had soaked through my boots. My pants were stiff from salt. My fingers were raw from gripping the wheel. I changed in the parking garage the best I could, wiped off my shoes, swapped my hoodie for the blazer, straightened my hair in the rearview mirror. I looked rough, but I figured once I got inside, it'd be fine. I'd warm up, get a drink, and finally catch up with my brother. I opened the banquet room door and stepped in. The place looked like a movie. Chandeliers. Waitstaff in bow ties. White tablecloths. Music playing low from a string quartet in the corner. People were dressed like it was a black tie gala. And there I was, wet shoes, wrinkled blazer, hair a mess from snow. I spotted Mark near the bar. I waved. He saw me and grinned. But then Alyssa turned and looked straight at me. She wrinkled her nose, tilted her head, and said loud enough for everyone nearby to hear, "Could you have dressed any cheaper?" I froze. People turned to look. A few snickered. Someone whispered behind me. I looked at Mark. I waited for him to say something, to shut her down. He just laughed. "She drove from Montana, babe. What do you expect?" Then he turned back to his drink like nothing happened. My throat burned. My hands were still shaking from the cold, and now I was shaking for another reason. I scanned the room. Every table looked full of smiling couples, dressed in expensive clothes, talking like they'd known each other for years. No one even looked my way. Except one waitress, who gave me a tight smile and pointed me to a small table near the kitchen door. I sat down by myself. Didn't even get a menu. No one came by. No one spoke to me. Mark never walked over. Alyssa kept laughing with her friends like she hadn't just humiliated me. I stayed for maybe 2 hours, just sipping water. Left before dessert. Drove to a cheap motel out by the airport and cried in the car before I checked in. I didn't hear from Mark again for a long time. A few months went by after that night. I didn't reach out to Mark, and he didn't reach out to me. I figured that was it, our relationship, whatever it was dead. I deleted the photos I took on the drive out there, tossed the blazer in a donation bin, and tried to move on. But something had shifted in me. I stopped checking social media. I didn't want to see their wedding photos, their honeymoon, the fake smiles. I focused on work. Picked up more hours. Started doing side jobs fixing up old trucks, selling them for cash. I didn't realize it then, but I was building something out of that anger. Quietly, piece by piece. One day, about a year after the engagement party, I ran into our cousin Jesse at the grocery store. We hadn't talked much since we were kids, but he recognized me and waved. We caught up in the frozen food aisle, just small talk at first. Then he said something that made my stomach twist. "Hey, you ever talk to Mark anymore? I saw him last month at a bar in Chicago. He was with some other woman. Not Alyssa. Didn't look like just friends, either." I didn't say much. Just nodded and changed the subject. Later that night, I pulled out my old tablet, logged into my email, and searched Mark's name. Nothing came up. Then I searched Alyssa. Still nothing. So I Googled. Turns out, they got married 6 months after that party. Big wedding. Photos in a magazine. Alyssa in a $10,000 dress. Mark with some business partners, grinning like he owned the world. Then I clicked on a smaller article link from a few months later. It was on a local business blog. Mark B. resigns from firm amid accusations of misuse of client funds. No details. Just said he stepped down. A few quiet rumors. No charges. I leaned back and stared at the screen. I wasn't sure what to feel. Anger? Satisfaction? I wasn't happy to see him fall, but I wasn't sad either. Another year passed. Then, out of nowhere, she emailed me. Alyssa. Her name showed up in my inbox like a ghost. No subject line. Just a short message, "Hi. I'm really sorry to reach out like this. I know I don't deserve your help. But I'm desperate. Mark left. Took everything. I don't have anyone else to ask. Please. If you can loan me anything at all, I'll pay it back. I'm scared." At first, I thought it was spam. Or a scam. I almost deleted it. But the way she wrote my name, it was too personal. Too real. I didn't respond. She wrote again the next day. This time longer. She said Mark had emptied their bank accounts and disappeared. She said he was living with a new girlfriend in Miami. Younger. Rich family. Alyssa was working part-time at a clothing store, behind on rent, and scared she'd be homeless by the end of the month. I didn't respond. The third message had attachments. Photos of an eviction notice, a blurry shot of a half-packed apartment, even a picture of herself crying, no makeup, hair a mess. It looked raw. Ugly. Real. She sent 6 more emails over the next week. Begging. Offering to pay interest. Offering to do anything. That's when I realized, she really had no one else. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt something like control. After her 7th email, I finally replied. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no either. I kept it vague. I might be able to help. But I want to meet in person. Somewhere neutral. 1 hour. That's all. She agreed right away. Suggested a few spots in Minneapolis. I ignored all of them and picked a diner in Fargo instead. Middle of nowhere, halfway point, cold, quiet. I didn't want comfort. I wanted her off balance. She showed up 10 minutes early. When I walked in, I almost didn't recognize her. No makeup, dark circles under her eyes, wearing a worn-out coat with a rip near the sleeve. Her nails always perfect before were bare and chewed up. She stood when she saw me. "Thank you for coming," she said, voice low. I sat. Didn't say anything at first. Just let the silence sit heavy. She talked fast. Said Mark emptied their joint account one morning while she was at work. Left a note saying he needed to start over. That was it. She tried calling. No answer. Found out later he moved to Miami with a woman he met at a real estate conference. "I lost everything," she said. He had control of our money. I trusted him. I let her finish, then leaned forward. "You remember what you said to me the night of the engagement party?" Her face tightened. She nodded slowly. "I was stupid," she said. "I was trying to impress people. I didn't think you mattered." That stung. Not because it surprised me, but because she admitted it so easily. I pulled a small notebook from my jacket pocket. Flipped it open to a list I'd kept for over a year. It had dates, expenses, job totals, repairs, parts one bought, hours worked. I slid it across the table. "This is everything I've built since that night. Every hour I worked, every dollar I saved. You mocked me for dressing cheap. This is what cheap clothes and hard work look like." She looked at the list, eyes scanning it, confused. Then I said it. "I could loan you money. I really could. But I won't. Because you don't need money. You need to learn what it feels like to be invisible. To sit in a room full of people and have no one look at you." She started crying. Right there, in the middle of the diner. People turned to look. She wiped her face with her sleeve, shaking. "Please," she said. "I know I was awful. I'm not that person anymore. I swear." I stayed quiet. Let her sit in the moment. Then I said something I never planned to say. "I'll give you a way out. One. But not with money." She looked up. "There's a woman who lives down the street from me. Her car's been sitting dead in her yard for months. She's older. Alone. No family. You help her fix it. You do her shopping. Clean her place. Every weekend. For 2 months. And you don't ask for a dime. Then, maybe, I'll consider helping you." Alyssa looked stunned. Her mouth opened, closed again. "You serious?" "Dead serious." She didn't answer right away. Finally, she said, "Okay. If that's what it takes." And just like that, the power shifted again. But what I didn't expect, what I couldn't have known then, was what that deal would uncover. Because helping that woman? It wasn't just a task. It was the start of something darker. Something I never planned for. Her name was Lorraine. 82 years old. Widow. Her husband died of cancer 5 years ago. Her son had moved to Arizona and hadn't spoken to her since. She lived in a small house a few blocks from me, alone, surviving on Social Security and canned soup. I introduced Alyssa to her that following Saturday. At first, Lorraine didn't trust her. Who would? A stranger showing up on her porch in tight jeans and a fake smile, asking to scrub her floors. But Alyssa kept showing up. Every weekend. She hauled groceries, cleaned the kitchen, even got the old Buick running with some help from me. I watched from a distance. Alyssa stopped wearing makeup. She stopped asking for money, too. She was tired, different. She didn't talk much when we crossed paths. Just nodded, got to work. 2 months passed. Then one day, Lorraine showed up at my shop. She walked slow, but with purpose. Handed me an envelope. She told me not to say anything, Lorraine said, voice low. But I don't keep secrets for people I don't trust. Inside the envelope were printouts of emails. Between Alyssa and Mark. Dates from the last year. The same year she told me he had abandoned her. Emails where she begged him to come back. Talked about the plan. How they'd teach me a lesson. One message even said, "I think she'll help us if I play the victim. Just give it a little more time." I sat down hard in my chair. I felt something twist in my gut. Like I was the joke again. Like that night at the engagement party never really ended. I confronted her that weekend. Met her outside Lorraine's house. "I know," I said. "About the emails." She froze. Her eyes darted around like a trapped animal. "It wasn't what you think," she said. "It started that way, yes. But I changed. I swear. I stopped talking to him months ago. He used me. I didn't know what he really had planned. I didn't yell. I didn't hit her. I just stared. You lied. Again. You took pity and used it like a tool. You made me think you were broken." She stepped forward. "I was. I am. I know I messed up, but I'm not lying now. He blocked me. He left me for real. I just didn't know how to fix what I started. I believed part of her. But not all of her. So I did the last thing I ever wanted to do. I sent the emails to every contact she'd applied to for a job, 3 stores, a local bank, even a nonprofit she volunteered with once. No message. Just the emails and a note, "Before you trust her, read this." She lost the little work she had. Got denied for new housing. Eventually, she left town. Mark? I mailed him a letter. Just one sentence on a torn piece of paper: "You made me feel small. Now I made you feel gone." That's all he got. I haven't heard from him since. But here's the thing I didn't expect: I didn't feel better. Not right away. I thought revenge would feel clean. Satisfying. But it didn't. Not at first. I just felt hollow. Like I let them turn me into something else. Something I never planned to be. But months later, Lorraine came by again. She brought cookies. Said her son called her for the first time in years. Said maybe watching Alyssa work reminded him of something good. "You did something real," Lorraine said. "Even if it started ugly." That stuck with me. So maybe I'm not proud of everything I did. But I'm not sorry, either. They made me feel like nothing. Now they know what that feels like, too.